All right, so what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Star Study Show. I have a very special guest for y'all today. I have Sunbelt Freshman of the Year and Sunbelt Player of the Year, former player for Coastal Carolina, Michigan University, Metropolitan 92, the LMB Pro A, and now a current player of Lamont, DeVante Jones. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hold
What's
on,
up?
hold on. What's up? What's up? What's up? First, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. When I first hit you up, you was very excited to help somebody from New Orleans, put them on and like really be help them, you know, get the status up. So I just want to ask you, what does growing up and being from New Orleans mean to you?
Uh, it means a lot, especially coming from a city where basically whenever you're born, you doubt it. Um, I think it's hard for athletes to get on the proper platform to even be able to showcase their abilities to get to where they need to get to. So um, I think for me, that always gave me like a certain type of chip on my shoulder. Because, whenever I seen like, the Lamar Peters, the Deakies, when I seen them getting like all this, publicity and things like that. 4 stars, 5 stars, and I wasn't getting no attention. So it's just like it kind of motivated me just to get better and push myself. So that's what it did. So New Orleans just always it just gave me this chip. So wherever I go in the world, like right now I'm in Paris and I still put that same chip. Feel like every time I step on the court, I'm the best. And it's not nothing cocky. I think it's very humble. It's just I know the work I put in. So I think New Orleans just kind of made me into like a dog, sort of say.
Yeah. So really, it's just crazy that you bring up all those players like Lamar, Peters, Deaky. A lot of people don't know about Deaky Dejan. He played for University of Houston, and those guys. Because what I was going to ask you was, being from New Orleans, Louisiana in general, it's a football state. It's very football
Right.
oriented. You don't really hear, although we have a few, like Mitchell Robinson with the New York Knicks right now, but we have a very few amount of people that really make it out and go big with basketball. What kind of made you look at it, with your surrounding area, made you pick up the basketball and commit to that?
Um, I don't know. I feel like right when I touched the ball, like I just really fell in love with it, and just looking up to the people that I looked up to, like Chris Paul's. I also looked at Alpha Payton. So just seeing what it did for them, like seeing them travel the world, seeing them being able to take care of their families, for retiring them, and just having a life where you ain't got to worry about money and you can just hoop, enjoy life and just work on your craft. I think that's just something that just really opened my eyes because to be honest, I couldn't really see myself like really working on 9 to 5, like really just getting up and not really wanting to get up and do something I'm not really enjoying. So basketball, I really enjoy getting up for basketball. So it's like when I started really touching the ball and getting better and better, it's just like I could really like change my life, but not just my life, everybody around me life. So I was just like just lock in with it, done it yourself, and just see what happens. And I done made it to being a professional.
All right. So now that you made it and you see like you said, you wanted to help the people around you. Do you ever plan on coming back to New Orleans to host any kind of like clinics or camping events?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just been real patient with it because I've been seeing, like Martinville. I've been seeing like a lot of people go back to New Orleans and host their little clinics, their little basketball camps. So I'm really just being patient, letting everybody, do their thing, get theirs out the way because I don't want to, interrupt nobody else on what they got going on. So whenever everybody is done, I'm hosting my own, where it's just like just me, and I ain't gotta worry about bumping into nobody else doing their own little thing. So it just be me focusing on me, getting back to the kids. Whoever it is, kids, adults, whoever want to come back and just and be in the camp or even come speak to the kids. So I think that's something that I plan on doing real soon. Probably within like a year or two, maybe. Hopefully that's the case.
All right. So just going to take like a dive through your career real quick. So like looking through your resume, I noticed that you moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee to play for China Academy. At what age did you move from New Orleans?
It was earlier, bro. I think whenever Katrina hit, I left when I was around like 7 or 8,
All
and
right.
I didn't come back till I was like I think like 16, 15, 16.
All right. So your first year at Chattanooga, um, you guys had it. 18-9 record. How was your first year at in high school?
My first year was good. It was different. The competition from what I remember in New Orleans to growing up in Tennessee was kind of like different. It was kind of easy though. I think when you get surrounded around a group of guys that's not as talented as you, but they're willing to listen and just play their role, like it makes the game a lot easier. So even though we didn't win state that year, I think we had a good year, especially for me being in my first year. It was real good.
Yeah. So then moving on to your sophomore year, you guys elevated even more and went 25-4, 12-0 district record. You were believed to have average 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists, which is, I'm not gonna lie, in my perspective, especially high school ball, that's really, really good for a
Mhm.
sophomore. Um, what kind of role did you have compared to this year, your sophomore year, compared to your freshman year?
I think my freshman year it was more of just getting like a feel for high school because I really didn't know how the game was, so I really just getting a feel. I think my sophomore year is where I just really made like a big leap because I understood the game and things like that. Even though I had like seniors and juniors on my team, it just I think I was just I don't think I was ahead of my time just because the game felt so slow to me. But I think the role I played was just being a playmaker, getting everybody involved. And yeah, it was just like that because it wasn't that hard because I had some seniors with me. So the seniors, they did a good job of like leading and things like that. So they made it kind of easy for me.
All right. So we're gonna dive into a part that I'm excited about. And kind of where our paths kind of intertwine at, which was at St. Augustine High School, your junior year when you came back to New Orleans. Very, very special couple years at St. Aug. How was it playing under St. Aug and being like under that spotlight? Like we know, it's a certain way you carry yourself when you're playing for St. Augustine High School, I should say.
Back. So it was crazy because when I first came back to New Orleans, nobody really knew me. So when I came back, um, I think we had practice one day, and I was like killing, and everybody was like, who this light skin dude is? So um, after that, I just kind of locked in with Caleb. Me and Caleb got real locked in because I didn't really know who Caleb was. So when I came to the team, everybody was like Caleb this, Caleb that. So I'm like, all right, cool. I get to play along somebody that's as talented as me, if not even more talented. So, the practices were going on, and just Coach Mitchell just, real intense. He's one of them coaches where it's like, if you don't do it perfect, then you really don't like it. Which at first I really didn't understand because when I was in Tennessee, I didn't really have no hard coach really on me about every little thing. So I think me playing at St. Aug, it was so beneficial for the next level after that because, dealing with coaches, they got a job to do. They got people to feed as well. So you gotta do everything specifically how they want it. And Cole Mitchell's like, he was so professional with it. He made sure like I always got shots up. He made sure I was in condition because he knew that we ever wanted to win state or make it far the playoffs, we had to be in shape. We was gonna deal with games that was gonna be, the gym was gonna be different, like the air, the weather. It's gonna be very hot in gym. So St. Aug was cool though, especially just like outside of basketball, like the people at St. Aug was cool. It was real funny school. A lot of people wanted to just make jokes all day and have fun. So I kind of enjoy St. Aug. I really miss it to be honest when I think about it because them 2 years was probably one of the best years I had. Like period.
Most def, most def. So since we're gonna touch on those 2 years, there's two things I really want to bring up, and that's playoff games. I know your first year was very traumatic, especially the way it ended. You guys had a really good, we had a really good squad. Really, Charles
Mm-hmm.
Brown, like you said, Caleb Daniels, then you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget the team that we played against, but it was a pretty close game throughout. Like, walk us down that last couple 30 seconds of the game if you remember.
Yeah. That's what we played Cameron Pro. But I remember that game like it was yesterday because the whole season we had this hype. We was winning. We was beating almost everybody. I think we ended up getting the first seed. So when we get the first seed, we played the 16th, the worst seed, whatever the worst seed was, and that's what we played. So we going into the game like, man, we don't worry about Cameron Pro. Like we about to kill them. So we end up doing that,
Right.
and we made the game closer than what it needed to be. So I think the game tied with like 30 seconds left. It's crazy because we get the rebound in our favor. But Charles, he do something that he never did all year, and it was crazy to me because I was on the bench. I think I had just got hurt, so I was on the bench. So it was Charles, Caleb. It was Charles and Caleb in the game with the three other players. So Charles get the rebound, dribble the ball up, which I don't know why. So when he's dribbling up, it's like 10 seconds left. Somebody come and steal it, and they shoot a half court shot and make it. And our season is over. When I tell you, after he made that shot, we went into the stairwell. Bro, Coach Mitch let everybody have it, but he was really mad at Charles and Caleb. He was mad at Charles because Charles did something he never did all year, dribble the ball up, especially in a crunch moment like that. Then he was mad at Caleb because he felt like Caleb should have been more like present up to the ball, like trying to get the ball from Charles. But like you said, we had a great team, bro. That was the year. If we was gonna win state, that probably was the best year for us to win because we had the three stars, me, Caleb, and Charles. But we also had great role players like Tracy, Bryce, Beecham.
Yeah, most definitely.
We had really everything that we needed. So losing that game kind of like it was kind of like a bummer because, like I said, we was number one seed. So we did everything in the regular season to get where we need to be, and that one little moment just took everything from us.
Yeah. And then the following year, y'all didn't fall off too much. Y'all still had that swagger about y'all, and that eventually led to a really big game in the playoffs against a highly recruit DeVante Smart. That was a really big matchup and really like the talk of town. The gym was packed out. Unfortunately, I know you was dealing with your injury. I think you had shin splits or something like that. I had that myself. I know it's very difficult to deal with. Um, but how is it going against somebody that's very highly recruited like Javante?
It was fun for me because I knew DeVante. Me and DeVante played on the same AAU team on the EYBL circuit with Alpha Payton. So I was already familiar with DeVante. Like I already knew how good he was. I was just upset that coach didn't let me guard him because he knew DeVante was really good at drawing fouls. So he probably would have got me in a foul trouble early. So what he did was put me on somebody else. But I think me and DeVante both ended up having like 24 that game. But obviously his team won. But it was cool because before the game started, the whole St. Arnold session like threw up white powder. That was cool. So it was like it was good. Even though we lost, it was a great experience. The game sold out like an hour or two before the game even started. So as I'm walking in the gym, I just see like everybody just packed, standing up, loud. We had the band playing music. It was
Yeah.
cool. It was probably the best atmosphere I played in while I was at St. Arnold.
So your seeing ends on that note, and
Yeah.
it's time to move on. Usually people graduate and go to college, but you decided to reclassify, right?
Yeah.
And that was at Notre Dame Prep School in
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Uh, how was it out there?
Man, it was different. Going out there was always snowing, always cold. Then I had to live with. I think it was 12 of us on the team, so I had to live with all my teammates in one house. Our chef was our coach. He couldn't really cook, to be honest, but I think when you come from New Orleans, you kind of like adapt to any situation that you're in. So like I struggled for like probably the first month just because, like I said, the weather. We didn't have a car. We used a van, so we had to really walk to stores and things like that. You couldn't really go to no mall. I think some prep schools just really lock you in on that basketball season, which is great for me because I think towards the end of the year, it was 1 month. I think I averaged like 35, and I think after I did that, it kind of like changed everything. I started getting recruited by like LSU, all the SEC schools, just Coastal Carolina, just a lot of big schools. So prep school at first I didn't want to do it just because I didn't want to like be away from home for a long period of time. But at the end of the day, going to prep school really changed my life. So it was a good experience.
Yeah. So what led to that decision, actually?
Um, to be honest, I had some good schools coming out of college. I just feel like my body type, I wasn't ready like physically, and I didn't feel like going to school and just sitting out a whole year, lifting weights and things like that. So I just said I'm young enough so I can reclass, and just focus on my body in prep school. Uh, I ain't got to do no schoolwork. It's really just you got to do some online work here and there, but it's really just straight basketball and weights. So I think it was just the right thing to do, and it turned out being a real good idea.
Yeah. So You go to prep school, you average 25 and 4. That was enough recognition to, like you mentioned earlier, to commit to Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you first got over there, you was ineligible to play, right?
Yeah.
Because of your academic reasons. Was it
Yeah.
anything like that? And I know
Yeah.
that's frustrating because it's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. That's something that
Yeah.
you have control over, and that's something that nobody gonna hold your hand to do, of course, right? So how was it? How was your mindset? After facing a setback like that.
It actually was good, just because I had like the right people around me. I think my mom and dad, they was kind of disappointed, but they basically was warning me like college, in college they're gonna hold you to a standard no matter who you are, and that's what they did. So when I ended up failing out the freshman, so it's like a freshman program we had, so I ended up failing out of that, and I had to go back home. Like I was in New Orleans for a little bit, but I was taking classes online just because I had to get eligible for the upcoming year. I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, it was hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Just because I know NBA scouts, I know, just professional teams overseas was looking at that. So I took it to heart. One of my coaches there, Coach Days, I've been knowing him for a minute. So he was just telling me just to lock in. You made like a little mistake, but don't let that define, your college career. So when I went home, I got like a 3.5 in my grades. I got back accepted. Then after that, it was what it was. But I think I needed that because I kind of got the big head a little bit when I started getting like all these offers, just all this recognition and things like that, especially from people back in the city. I started getting a big head, so just me getting that little setback was actually a good thing for me.
Okay, that's cool. So, you finally overcome that challenge, right? You get your
Yeah,
your mind ready for the books, and you also it's like another one come and hit you right in your face. You get hurt your second game, and
yeah,
you miss the next 10.
yeah.
Um, I just want to know when you go through stuff like that, when it's like back to back to back, a lot of people do fold and quit. Did that ever come across your mind?
Man, so many times, bro. It was like because I had when I had got hurt, when I got hurt, like I knew it was something bad, but I didn't think it would like sit me out for a long period of time. So when I got my trainer told me the news, I kind of started crying because like I wasn't even crying because like I couldn't play. I was really thinking about my parents. But when my parents said, "Listen, we got your back. Just go lock in on recovery. Get back right. Then you come back. I know you're gonna have one of the best freshman seasons that Costal ever seen." So hearing that from my parents, man, it was like heartwarming. I was just rehabbing. I was just controlling what I could control, and I ended up getting freshman of the year. So it was just crazy how everything just played itself out.
Yeah. So your mom definitely spoke that into existence for you for winning like Sunbelt Freshman of the Year. That's a pretty big achievement, especially overcoming what you did have to overcome. You averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. 4 assists. How did it feel overcoming all of that and finally getting your flowers towards the end of the season and
Oh,
like your recognition?
it felt great. Just knowing that all the hard work paid off, even though I still had like two setbacks. I think that just really shows just like whatever you put your mind to, you really can achieve it. You just lock in. So it felt great just because I didn't know I was gonna get it. I wasn't really aiming for that, to be honest. I was really aiming just to like win. Me being a freshman guard, being a point guard in general, like I think the best feeling is always winning because obviously you need somebody. They're gonna look at the point guard. Win or lose, they're gonna blame the point guard. That's like the quarterback of the team. So just winning was the main thing. But like I said, getting freshman of the year definitely was um, a great feeling.
And so, your story pretty much follows as, you're moving on to your sophomore year. I understand that you had like another foot injury in a pickup game.
Yeah.
Was it like with that pickup game? You got a story to tell with that?
Man, yeah, cause all right, so I went back to Tennessee because I ain't been to Tennessee at this time. I ain't been to Tennessee in a while, so I decided to go back to Tennessee and see some of my friends, and I ended up running into like one of my close friends. He also played basketball. He was good. We was in high school, so I seen him and I was just asking him like, Cause this is like a little bit, like it's probably like a week or two before I got to go back to Coastal. And I was like, do they got any good runs anywhere? So we ended up going to the gym, and it's crazy because when I play in these pickup games, like I know certain people are like, whenever I walk in the gym, people just be like, "Oh, that's DeVante Jones. Let's go at him." So I go in there and I be trying to chill, like I don't want to play too hard so I don't get hurt. I think me playing too lackadaisical kind of like put me at risk to get hurt even more. So I ended up getting a rebound and I ended up falling on somebody's foot. But when I got up, it's like I was good for the rest of the pickup game. So the pickup game went on for like 10 more minutes. I was good, but I think as my adrenaline shut down, it's like I couldn't put no pressure on it. So my teammate had to end up, or my brother, he had to like help me, like walk me. I was like hobbling. I had to get crutches, and I was kind of like nervous because I was like, dang, like how I'm gonna tell my coach, like how I'm gonna tell my parents, like how all this gonna play out without
Right.
it really becoming like a big deal. So when I did it, I already knew like what it was because I felt this in my other foot. So I was like, dang, I might be out for a minute. But luckily, I did it when I did it because we still had preseason, we still had all these things coming up. So it was kind of like the perfect timing. Even though I didn't want to hurt myself, like it was perfect to hurt myself at that time.
Mm. And you were still able to get all Sunbelt second team, right? You were still able to make that team
Mm-hmm.
with that setback, and that leads you to well, really, I want to touch on you know you increasing in your playmaking ability.
Yeah.
In your freshman year, you had you was averaging 3 assists, and this year you end up averaging like five assists.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty good jump. What kind of drills or anything that pretty much helped you see the court better?
I just think experience. I think when you play somewhere for a year, and you playing like a lot of minutes, you actually the focal point. You just see the game differently when you come back that second year. So that second year, the game is kind of like slowed down. I also got like better players around me. Coach did a great job of like improving shooters, um, recruited bigs that can like finish floaters around the rim. You know, that can catch lobs. So just playing with people that was more of a threat, kind of like helped me. I got to give that credit to the coaching staff for just doing a great job of like bringing in players that like kind of fits my game, my style of play.
All right. So now we have a really big year for you. Going into your third year at Coastal Carolina, you absolutely nobody could do nothing with you. You was an absolute bucket. They didn't have no kind of solution for you. You averaged 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and you also were, really good on the defensive side of the ball with 3 steals a game. Then you were named Sunbelt Player of the Year. Uh, I know a lot of notoriety came with that, especially being at a small school like Coastal Carolina. Um, Now I know said earlier, like being from New Orleans, you had a chip on your shoulder. Did you feel like it was the same for this season? Being your third year at Coastal Carolina.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. That year was kind of just like personal for me because that's something that after my sophomore year and I went back to New Orleans, I ran into Lamar Peters. So me and Lamar Peters in the gym, like going at it. Like one day we was really going at it. Then like that whole summer it was just like me and Lamar just kind of battling. Then I think like the last 2 weeks of me being in New Orleans, like I got the best of him. He really didn't like that. So me getting the best of him kind of like I just proved myself that I was right. That like I feel like I was the best in the city at that time. But nobody's gonna like only a few people seen that because obviously I didn't have the name Lamar had. But I think that played a big part as well because that whole year I was just locked in, staying in the gym, early mornings, late nights with my assistant coach whenever I got back to school. That whole year especially, I think I went viral um, on Instagram. I
So
posted some.
yeah,
I posted something. I forgot. It was
it
like
was
a
on your man's
yeah.
247 Sports or something like that.
Yeah, so
I know the TikTok. It was basically like can't nobody this gym feel like nobody could check
yeah,
me or something like that.
yeah.
And
So
they had to check the facts on you. They had to check the
yeah,
facts on you.
yeah. So when I did that, cause it's crazy when I did that, bro. I wasn't even expecting like it to go crazy. I just seen the trend. And I was like, I got some good stats right now. So let me just see what would happen. So I did it. I think I went to sleep the next day. Like my phone, it went so crazy. I gained like 10,000 followers on Instagram. Um, I was getting like DMs. I got followed. I got like I had people that's like in the NBA and things like that following me. So all around that year was great, and just getting player of the year just kind of like topped it off. I was kind of upset though because I feel like that year we had the team to like actually win our conference and go to March Madness, but we ended up losing. So that kind of made me mad. But overall, I was satisfied with what I did that year. So it was cool.
And so after that year, you decide to move on and transfer. You had a lot of. It came down to Texas Tech, Michigan, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did Memphis also
Mhm.
give
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
So what led you to choose Michigan University?
Um, I think Michigan. I watched them the year before that, and they ended up going to the Elite Eight. So my main goal was always to go to March Madness. So I feel like me going to Michigan, it kind of like put me in a position to automatically go to March Madness. But also I had got a FaceTime call with Juwan Howard. Mind you, Juwan Howard played with LeBron, played with the Heat. He got an NBA championship. So just having an NBA coach, want to coach you and want to push you to be the best you can be, like that was kind of like an eye opener for me because I never really thought that I would be in that position before. So when I was on FaceTime with them, and mind you, they sponsored by Jordan, so it's like FaceTime like this, but they got all the Jordans in the bag. Plus, I was on FaceTime with my other coaches, Saudi Washington, and the rest of the coaching staff, which was also like it was mainly a black staff. So I've never been coached by like a black staff, so they kind of like played a part in it too. But it just felt like home. Talking to Jerron and the rest of the coaches, they kind of made me feel like I was important. They had my highlights up. They compared me to the point where they had that year before. So it kind of like, okay, they really could see me being here and fitting in and just helping the program out. And I wanted that big challenge. Like I wanted that. I know how big of a school Michigan is. I know all eyes gonna be on Michigan. So, and it's crazy when I made that decision. I started getting on NBA draft boards and things like that. So it's kind of it was just like a surreal feeling, and I just didn't want to mess up on that opportunity.
How was it transitioning to like a Power 5 division with the Big Ten? At Michigan University. How was that transition for you?
I ain't gonna lie, the beginning was kind of tough, just because like the game's just so much quicker. The guards, like just the players in general, are just more athletic. Your coach, way harder. The expectations are higher. The fans are crazier. Cause that's really like a college town. Like that's what they do in Michigan. They football and basketball, hockey, track. Like that's all they care about. They don't really have like no professional teams. So besides like Detroit Pistons, but you know how that is with them. So uh, it was kind of difficult at the beginning. I had some really good games in Michigan though, but I didn't really have those good games to probably like towards the end. Towards the end, I got more comfortable with just playing my game. I think at the first I just wanted to play within the system. I just wanted to get everybody involved. Like it took away from me being aggressive offensively. I think that's where I kind of like messed up at a little bit, and I kind of showed that I'm still one of the best guards. As I step on the court towards the end of the year, because I had like 5 good games in a row that and one big game versus Ohio State, which also led us to going to March Madness. So all in all, Michigan was a good experience. Definitely was a hard transition at the beginning, but towards the end, it got way easier.
So like how you mentioned earlier, you played under Coach Juwan Howard, who was also, if a lot of people don't know, was part of that notorious 5-5. Um, went on to the NBA to do amazing things too, like win an NBA championship.
Hmm.
How was it playing under him, Juwan Howard?
Oh, it was great. Man, I just that's kind of like a dream come true. Like I know a lot of kids would love playing under an NBA coach who won an NBA championship, who played with LeBron, knowing that LeBron is probably mostly everybody's favorite player. So just having Jawan around just gives me the ins and the outs of the point guards he played with, and what he expect out of me. It was just like I didn't really believe it at first. It was just I was just trying to take it in, and just be grateful for the opportunity that I had. But just playing under somebody like that, it's just so surreal. You get to see who he is, outside of like seeing him on TV and things like that. And I really got to see who he was, a very genuine person. He invited me over to his house for a Halloween party, and just he was just a player's coach. He would always call me, ask how I'm doing mentally, check on my family. Outside of basketball, he was a great guy. So I think all in all, I always appreciate him. We still talk to this day. So um, it's just a bond that'll never be broken.
Right. So definitely a player's coach, and one thing that was pretty memorable during your time there and his time there. I remember February 20th, 2022, Michigan versus Indiana. You guys lose that game 77-63. Something, after the game, you guys, dab each other off, good game, good game. But, there was an altercation between I just want to know, I just want to know what things was like through your perspective.
That's crazy because like we already didn't like then we didn't like them, like obviously it was like a rivalry between the two. We losing. And I think something sparked it. I think we had got a steal. We down like 15 with like 20 seconds left. But we get two steals in a row and we score. But the game is over. Like, it's no way we're coming back. It's like 10 seconds left, 9 seconds left. We're still down 11, 11, 12. So they coach called a timeout. And mind you, Juwan Howard played in the NBA. So they don't like those type of things. So it's like, when that happened, that kind of like triggered him because, like, why are you stopping the game if y'all already won and there's only 10 seconds left? So as that happened, you could tell the frustration on John Howard's face as we get in the huddle. So um, game over. We start shaking hands. I'm walking to the back, but if you see it on the replay, you can see that the coach kind of like trying to dap Juwan up, and Juwan didn't want to dap him up. So Juwan kept walking, but the coach kind of like put his like he trying to like push them. And Juwan's from Chicago, so I think his first instinct was like, if I don't know you, if I'm already upset, like my first obligation is to put my hands on you if you touch me. So like, that's what he did. And when we got back to the locker room, um, it was just, I mean, we all of us honestly we was all on our phone because we always get notifications from ESPN, 24/7 Sports, just all the networks was just tagging us. And we just kept seeing it, and everybody was calling us and things like that. So we was real on our phone, just watching it. But I was kind of like, we always upset when we heard that he was going to be suspended for 5 games, especially like the last 5 games of the year. It was like, damn, we're going to be without our coach. But that was memorable. I'm always remember that. So, and I'm glad I was part of that because every time they bring it up, they go like I'm part of that. So it was cool. It's cool now. I think about it now, but at the time it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But now it's like cool.
It's a lot of things about Michigan, especially. I want to touch on like that Ohio State rivalry real quick. I know it's a very historic rivalry. How intense was those games, particularly in your year in Michigan?
Um, I think the last game of the year was the most like historic one because, like you said, the altercation happened. So Jordan Howard didn't coaches that game. And our Hunter Dickinson, probably one of the best bigs in the league. He didn't play the game. I think he was sick or injured, one of the two. So we going into a game that's must win. If we don't win, we don't make March Madness, and that would be like terrible. Like that would be terrible, especially for me coming into a program where it's known for going to the tournament, and I don't make it the year I'm there. So that they'll literally all be on me. So we going to Ohio State atmosphere. Gym is crazy. As we walking in, they got a sign saying "Where's Juwan" and things like that. Um, so we go in the game like, but we in the locker room like we chilling, like we confident. Like I know I'm confident because now it's like our backs against the wall. Like now we got it, we got to show them who we really is. And that was my best game of the year because I don't know. I think every time like I'm doubted or people just say, "Oh y'all," they count us out. It's like now I gotta prove to y'all like it's we never out no matter what the case is. So we end up going to the game. We end up winning on the road by like I think like 6 points. When we win, oh yeah, during the game I ran into like Logan Paul. Logan Paul's on the he was on the sideline, like front row. I ran into him during the game, so that was a good moment. But we ended up winning by 6. Right after that, my phone blow up. Like, I think I got like 5K followers on Instagram, like 6,000 on Twitter. Like I think that game really like just put me even more, got some more popularity. So it was cool. I like that atmosphere. I wish I could do it again. I like being in Dallas. That's probably like the best game of the year.
Yeah, you definitely have like a dog mentality about you. Especially if people notice your game, like 6-1, but you really crash them boards heavy. You go after it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing. Once you see that ball, is your ball basically, right?
That's
So you know when people do their homework on DeVante Jones, just make sure you really watch his game. Not the impact that he has on the game is not going to show on the stat sheet, but if you really watch and see him go after it, you'll realize he's a valuable player to a team. That's how you end up on Michigan University, right?
yes, sir.
So moving on, you guys do make it to March Madness. So everybody, March Madness is basically like the biggest tournament in America. How intense is it really? Just playing in them tournaments, in those close games, and the margin of error is just so small. What's your mindset and like going through the games and before, after?
I don't lie. For me, it was I didn't get nervous until like the day of the game. But like I think the best part is really when you sit down. Uh, I forgot what it's like Sunday. On Sunday, you find out who you playing and where you play at. So I think we sit down. We in the gym. We in the gym, and we on TV. They calling out. First seeds, all the first seeds, Kentucky and Ireland, all the first seeds, and things like that. So we found out that we was playing, and I forgot what we played at, but when we found out we made it, I think it was a sign of relief, just because like it wasn't a guarantee for us to make it, but us being Ohio State on the road without our coach and without without our best big, kind of like it was like an eye opener for everybody. So when we found out we made it, first game playing against Colorado State, it was just like it was just like I don't know. I think my dream came true. Like I said, my whole goal was to go to Michigan was playing March Madness. So achieving that goal kind of like I don't know, like it put like a smile on my face. I was excited. Everybody hit me up, just congratulating me on finally making it. To March Madness. Just wishing me good luck. So it was crazy. Playing that environment because like you said, the Fab Five. So at our games like we had Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, and we had like
Right.
the NBA players come back, Trey Burke. Like we played in front of all these people. So that right there was kind of like making me nervous in itself because I ain't never really played it in front of like those type of people. I mean, like in AAU, I played against like high level coaches, but now I'm playing against like high level people that played in the NBA and things like that. So it was just crazy, just traveling. Whenever you win and go to the next round, you got to travel across the world. So it was cool. Then, whenever you go into the games, you got like your band, like you in a hotel. You come down to the hotel, you got the band playing in the lobby. So you walking through like the music playing. So that's cool. Everywhere you go, everybody saying go Michigan, things like that. So I think whenever you go to March Madness, I think that team itself, like wherever you at, like your team really become like a rock star group. Like wherever you go, it's like everybody cheer you on, everybody want to see you succeed. And even if you do lose, like, yeah, you lose, but at the end of the day, it's like you made it to a place that every team don't make it to. So it's at the end of the day, it's kind of a win, especially for me because I've never been there before. So, and I made it to the Sweet 16. So, and in the Sweet 16, I played against Caleb. So it's like
Right. Right.
for me, it was cool. Like even if he did win, I was like I was happy because somebody else from New Orleans made it. Like they still going. So at the end of the day, I was still excited, win or lose.
Yeah. So touching on that moment real quick, how crazy was it for life to really come full circle for you like that? Especially, you go through the tournament, like you said, it was already a dream come true. Then you run into a former teammate in New Orleans. At Villanova, you play against Caleb Daniels. Um, just talk about that moment, just the emotions
No,
out there through your body.
no, it was great. I think in the one line, no, me and Caleb didn't really talk until like after the game. I mean, I think I guarded him a little bit in a game. I don't think he really got the ball when I was guarding though. Vice versa, when he guarded me, I ain't really try to be aggressive. But after the game, we shook hands and left line. Well, the line you come dap each other up after the game. Me and him just sit. We sat there and just hugged each other and just embraced the moment for like a good 2 minutes, bro. Because like people from New Orleans don't make it, to that stage. So just the fact that we both made it and played each other, it was just crazy. We took pictures. It was all on social media and things like that. So just having that moment with my brother, it was just crazy. I'm just glad that we both made it to a spot that a lot of people from New Orleans don't make it to.
So, um, now, I forgot to mention this, but I know after Coastal Carolina, you did try out, well, go into the draft combine, but without an agent,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So you go without an agent just to see where your rankings would be at, right?
mm.
And you decide to go to Michigan. So now this time around, you're going with an agent. You come with intentions to get drafted. Tell me about the difference between
Yeah.
then and now.
Okay. So without the agent, when you going in, you kind of going in like loose, just because if you go in without an agent, you got the opportunity to stay in or go back, so you don't really have no pressure on you. So, and I was going through the NBA drafts, working out with different NBA teams, traveling, and I went to the combine that was in Chicago. I did real good. I think one game I got player of the game. Uh, the next game I didn't do as good, but overall, I did good out there, and I did good on the agility test. I did good in the full court sprint. Like I said, just meeting people. So it was good because I ended up being teammates with the point guard for the Pelicans right now. So just meeting him, touching bases with him, getting locked in with him was kind of cool. I'm kind of mad at myself because I wish I would have stayed in the draft that year because I had such a good, good summer. I was doing good in my workouts. I did good with um, at the combine, but I think I didn't have the right group of people around me pushing me to stay in, and I was also nervous too because I knew I had a chance to go back to school, so I didn't want to go into the draft and be like, dang, I should go back to school if I didn't get drafted and go where I wanted to go. But I ended up going back to the draft again, but this time I signed with an agent. So the difference is when you with an agent, you stuck. You can't go back to school. Like so, I think that kind of put more pressure on me because I was like, all right, now I got to do perfect in these workouts because if I don't get these people attention, then what's next? You know what I'm saying? This is before I was even thinking about. I wasn't even thinking about overseas at the time. I was thinking about NBA. So I had great workouts. So I had good workouts. I did. I ain't go to the combine this time. I went to another combine. It was in Portsmouth. I did great over there. So and all in all, I still had a good summer. I didn't get drafted though, but I was talking to a lot of NBA teams. Um, I did summer league with the Denver Nuggets, which is cool. I met Jamal Murray, Jokic, Michael Porter. I met those type of guys. So it was a great experience. That was a checklist I wanted to do. Playing summer league, I did that. A lot of people from New Orleans been playing summer league, so I'm just doing that kind of like put a smile on my face. But I think after that, uh, they wanted me to do the G League with them, but just the money wasn't what it was. So I got a call, from Victor. I was
Hmm.
like, Victor calling me. So I didn't know what Victor was at the time. So I looked it up and I was like, he projected to go #1 next year. So I'm like, all right. And it's in Paris. So I'm like, dang, like, why? Like, why this sound so perfect? So, but it's crazy. I never wanted to go overseas, bro, because I was just, that's like a big jump. Like, just be away from your family, a whole different country for like 10 months. Just, you got to eat different. You got to just learn, different cars and things like that. So I was just thinking like that. But I had to talk with my close circle, and I was like, you can't miss up on this opportunity because we started to find out that we're gonna come back play in Vegas. We're gonna have games on the NBA app, so NBA teams are gonna see me, see us as a team, and also I'm playing with Victor. So that's gonna come with playing in front of Chris Paul, we played in front of Travis Scott. We seen Mbappe, the star soccer player. We played in front of Devin Booker, Carmelo Anthony. So just doing all that, me and Kyle Kuzma, he came all the way out the country to watch us play. So meeting him, Uh, we just met so many people, so it was just a great experience. So coming overseas wasn't the worst thing because growing up, I hated overseas. Never wanted to go overseas. I started seeing people from the city go overseas. I'm like, let me be different. Let me try to get to the league, but I would still get to the league. It's just I took a different route. So
Yeah. I think I can recall a very particular story back in my like St. Aug days. I remember like you was pretty much the talk around campus and whatnot. And I remember somebody touched on you and it was basically like, that's just how you always been. You was like, no plan B, I'm going to the NBA, I'm going to the NBA, I'm going to the NBA. Like that's always been you, you know?
thanks,
Like,
thanks.
you know how teachers kind of preach that whole plan B on you, like, what if it was basketball?
Yeah,
You like, nah, NBA, NBA, NBA. So,
thanks.
it's just crazy how like things always just worked out for the better. Because, like you said, now you're in the MLB Pro A, you're playing for the Metropolitan 92, which featured some absolute dogs. You had Tremont Waters. We just gonna start
Thanks.
off right there, right? Y'all had
Yeah.
I can't really pronounce his name, but is it Bao
Bilal, yeah.
Bilal, who was also another lottery pick for the Washington Wizards. And then, the big boy, Victor Webanyama. Real quick, just touch on the fact that, you didn't go undrafted, but you took the different route and just seeing how it worked out for you playing in that spotlight, like you said, y'all first game of the season was on the NBA app and
Yeah.
y'all played against a really good team, the G League Ignite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which featured Scoot Henderson. So
Yeah. Nah,
just
I just think I go by motto, and I always say, bet on yourself. So I think me going overseas is really just me betting on myself because I could have easily went to the G League. I thought that was the easy route. I didn't want to take that route, so I took a more comfortable route for me, which led to being the most comfortable route I could have took. So it's playing with Victor and Bilal, and Trey, Aaron, just all the people I played with Trey was in the league with the Celtics, Aaron Henry was in the league with the 76ers. I also played with Hugo. He got drafted by the Bucks. Excuse me. So it was just a great experience. Like you said, we went to Vegas, played Scoop, who's a really good player. Just having that experience playing against him was cool in itself. But just all our games were kind of packed, like literally packed. Everybody wanted to come see. Victor play in France for his last year, so every game was sold out. Everywhere we traveling, people just surrounding the bus, things like that. So the hotel was always packed with no fans, no supporters. So I think that whole year, bro, was just like so surreal because mind you, we in Paris. It was just a great feeling. We got celebrities flying out. Um, it was just amazing, bro. Just being able to see Victor be like a kid. Cause I think people forget like he's young, like 18, 19. So I see Victor like behind the scenes. Make jokes with him, laugh with him. We did paintball together. Just it was just so surreal, bro. Like if I could do that year over again, I would. Just because we probably was the most talented team, but we was the youngest. We had a lot of stuff going on that whole year that a lot of people don't really know about. Tremont left the team. Aaron got hurt. Hugo got hurt. So we had to get more players. That wasn't the chemistry wasn't as easy because they wasn't there all year. We still make the finals. We ended up losing to like Mike James. So, but they're an older team, EuroLeague team. So nobody expected us to go to the finals because we were so young. We lost key players. But like I said, whenever my back against the wall, just people I'm with back against the wall, we always play at our best. So we ended up going to the finals. We ended up losing, but uh, just going to the finals, knowing that we didn't really have the experience and things like that, that was kind of an eye opener for us, but also for NBA teams, overseas teams, and scouts. So they play. It was like I said, my decision was the best decision I made, and I'm just happy that the people around me helped me make that decision.
all right. So like you touched in earlier, Victor Wembanyama, it was crazy. Just
Thanks.
you know, pretty much big superstar that you playing with. A lot of people said that he was the best prospect since LeBron James. Um, truly, how was it just being around all that noise?
It wasn't really. It was cool. Like I said, like great experience. I know Victor. Uh, Victor did a great job of like being respectful and being like an open guy because I think a lot of people was really like crowding his space. especially in public. We could be out eating, a lot of people just crowd him. So I think he did a real good job of like being respectful and just being open to everybody. He would always sign, pictures. He would always take pictures. He never really told nobody no. And it was like hundreds of people, just waiting on him, just screaming his name and things like that. So just and like this is my first year overseas, so I'm not used to none of the gyms. I ain't used to the fans, supporters. I'm not used to the crowds being how they was. I'm not used to none of that stuff. So just being my first year as a rookie, just experiencing this with the number one pick and the number seven pick and the Lyles, just it's kind of like I got lucky because a lot of people tell me that I was overseas already. And they tell me that rookies don't even play in the best league. So me being in the top league as a rookie, playing in the NBA, playing alongside two lottery picks, playing with a coach who's a legend in France. So I think everything that happened to me was just like God's really blessing me for all the things I've been through to get to this point. So I think that's what really just motivates me now, just to keep going. I think right now I'm just so about being proving to everybody that it wasn't just Victor that made us win. Like, so I'm gonna show him that I can do it without a lottery pick, project lottery pick, number one pick, and things like that. So it's just like I gotta show him it wasn't no fluke, basically. So that's the motivation for this year.
And you're doing like a really good job at that this year. Already with your new team, Lamont, you won MVP of the preseason, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're doing an amazing job. Uh, I just want to backtrack real quick. You speak on y'all losing to Monaco
Mm-hmm.
in the finals. Y'all had a really good playoff run. I was following y'all, man. I was all at work, like really like seeing how y'all was doing
Mm-hmm.
throughout the playoffs and whatnot. And you do lose to Monaco, but how does it feel like in your career to always, from high school till now to come so close, but to, you know, end up coming short?
Um, no, I kind of hate it just because I hate being that guy that always finish second, but at the same time, it's like somebody got to finish second. Like I would rather finish second than finish last. Like that's just my motto. Obviously, I want to win, but sometimes you just go up against people that's better than you. And I think that's what just motivates me to just keep staying in the gym and keep getting better because uh, I think I'm chasing something that's impossible. Like I'm chasing greatness. Nobody, I'm chasing perfection, but nobody can be perfect. So I think that's why I'm always stay motivated just to keep getting better because I'm chasing something that's not accomplishable. So um, I don't know. I think playing against Monaco is kind of like surreal though. Playing against Mike James, who's been in the league, he played with the Brooklyn Nets, he played with Kyrie Irving, he played with KD. Um, so just playing against him was a good matchup, and um, it hurted me. It hurted me that we couldn't beat them. But at the end of the day, I think the experience was the most important thing for me being a rookie because now this year, when I play Monaco again, I will know like even though they added Kemba Walker to their team, which is crazy. Um, I just feel like I know how they play. I know what to expect from them. So that kind of gave me like more of an edge and more of an advantage to help my teammates kind of understand like what that game would be like.
So, what you looking forward to with your new team? You move on from Metropolitan '92, which was a really talented team, but after your rookie year, you move on to Lamont, and this year that's upcoming. What do you expect?
I ain't gonna lie. I think uh, this year I'm looking for like something legendary out of myself. Honestly, I think I've been putting in so much work, bro. It's like I don't know. Like I got something to prove. Just because I feel like a lot of people think last year I did. No, I did good. A lot of people think I did good, but they feel like I did good because of Victor. Which could be true, could be. I don't know, but I'm just gonna show people this year, bro. It's different. No, I mean that in the most humble way. Like I got great teammates, so um, obviously I want to win and do everything collectively. But just me as myself individually, like every game will be personal. I want to beat every team. Like I want to beat their head in. Like, I'm trying to kill everybody. Obviously, it's not going to turn out that way just because of, like we're going to be playing against way team that are like way more high level than us, like Monaco, Asbel, team like that. They got like NBA players. So, but I still want to go in and just kill, score a lot, get a lot of steals, rebound, play make, get make the All Star game. Hopefully, get MVP of the regular season. I want to do everything, to be honest.
Okay, so I just want to touch on something real quick. I brought like a little bell for you real quick. So a lot of people they gonna be like, why this man just put up a bear? And I just want to let you, if you feel comfortable, I just want you to touch on what the bear means to you.
All right, so I think it was my second time entering the NBA draft, the combine. I made a video. I made like a little day in the life video. I was in Texas. Yeah, I was in Texas training with Tim Martin. He's a trainer who trained like Trey Young, Tariq Maxey, Nick Claxton, things like that. So I was training with him. So I did a day in the life video in Texas, and I had a bear on the side of my book bag, and a lot of people kept asking me like, what's the bear for? But the bear is really like a sign of peace. I think my mom gave it to me. It's like a sign of peace. So basically, I had went through a moment where it's like I started like doubting myself. That was because all the injuries, the setbacks I had. I was just like, dang, like, why did that happen to me? I started questioning myself. I started questioning God. So I think the bear is just like a sign of peace. Just to made me get back to my my safe space. And it actually helped. I don't have a bear with me now, which is crazy, but the bear helped a lot. So I think I gotta start back wearing that bear again because when I started wearing that bear, great things started happening in my life. Great things still are happening, but the bear is definitely sign of peace, love, happiness, all those great things. So it's funny that you brought that up because I kind of forgot about it, but no, I appreciate that. No, the bear means a lot to me for sure.
Yeah, so like being a professional athlete is probably already stressful enough, right? So how do you manage yourself not getting looking far ahead of yourself or being overwhelmed?
I think now, like in my second year, I don't know why I feel like I'm vet, bro. But like in my second year, it's just like I'm just focused on the task. Like I work extra hard, just getting recovery in. Then when I come home, I'm talking to the people I can talk to. Why I got the time, because my time and your time, like it's like I think we're like 7 hours apart. So it's like
Yeah,
whenever I do get the time to talk to my people, I really try to take advantage of that. I probably get on the game, Netflix, chill. Um, I think last year I didn't do a good job of like prioritizing, sleep. But I had trouble sleeping just because of like the time change. So I wasn't going to sleep till like 1, 2 a.m. But I was having practice at like 9 a.m. So that was like kind of like messing me up. But now it's like I go to sleep at 11, 12, 1 at the latest. So like my body is in better shape, more well rested. I think the motivation is way higher, just because of the contract, getting paid way more, things like that. So just seeing, how like what I'm doing, it's kind of like making my parents, happy. So when they happy, I'm happy. So that's the main thing. But being overseas, bro, it ain't that bad. Like it's kind of, I mean, I've been in two great situations. So it's like I can't speak for everybody, but speaking for myself, I've been in a great situation. So it's like, why not take advantage of this? Like, why not, keep getting better each and every day because you still have a chance to go to the NBA. I'm still young, so I just take advantage of everything that I can take advantage of, and just stay prayed up.
most definitely, most definitely. So you speak on like being in Paris and how you're in a good situation. It's not that bad, but when you first did get out here, was there any problems that you had to overcome, like being homesick or like just you know actually just your first time? I know in the past, like you've been in Michigan, Carolina, even went to Massachusetts, but
Mm-hmm.
like this is when you're like overseas, away from home. Like, what problems did you have to overcome?
It's crazy because my problem is it wasn't even with my parents. My problem was with like the people I was like cool with, like my they're not my real brothers, they're not my real sisters, but I call them like my brothers and my sisters. Just people I would just talk to. Like I couldn't talk to them like I wanted to because the time change was so different. So I would be in my house like just bored because The game you can play the game, but like you want to play the game for so long. So the game's getting boring. Watching shows and movies all day was kind of getting boring. I didn't really have nobody to call or talk to because when I first got to Paris, I wasn't really locked in with all my teammates. So it's like, okay, I can't really just call and pull up on them because like they be busy too. So I'm in the house just I was kind of depressed a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. Like a lot of people say, being in Paris, you should be happy and things like that. But when you're a professional athlete, it's like your main focus is basketball, which is true. But we got a life outside of that. So my life outside of that was like so like empty, like cause like the people I was cool with, they was either working, sleeping, or they was just busy, and I had to respect that because I'm 7 hours ahead of y'all. So it's like I know when it's like what 3 in the afternoon here, it's still morning, early morning there, so people still sleeping and things like that. So just dealing with that was kind of hard, but I think now it's kind of different because now like my circle completely changed from last year to this year. I don't really mess with a lot of people that I used to, and the people I talk to now, like their schedule kind of fits with mine. So like whenever I get out of practice, they either getting up for work, so they already up, or they already been at work and they about to get off. So like, it's kind of like it been perfect so far. So it's like it's just crazy how like a year can really change everything.
So, you know, what you look forward to most with this new team?
Um, just the growth of the chemistry. I think we all real cool, and the season haven't really even started yet. So that's kind of that's great. We've been having great practices. Like we've been having like 2 practices a day, conditioning. Just we'll be dying together, and the fact that we be dying together, they're enjoying it. That's special. But obviously, last year this team finished sixth. In the same league I was in last year, they finished sixth. So the main goal for me is finish top three. Obviously I want to finish number one, but the realistic goal for me is to finish top three. Go to the finals of the game for sure, but this time I want to win it. And it's crazy how I think this year I'm more doubted this year than I was last year because last year obviously I had Victor, so they felt like we had a chance. I think this year they're completely writing us out. No, they got me to have like a good individual year, but the team they don't really have us winning anything. So it's like that's the chip that I needed. So now that they down us and they down me, it's like okay, now I want to go out, finish top three, go to the finals, just keep proving it wrong. So that's the main thing for me.
So, what's your plans for the NBA? Like, I know you still want to make that push, like you said earlier. You're still young. You still got a lot to you. Um, how close do you feel that you are to attaining that dream and that goal?
I'm closer than a lot of people think, and um, I think this year is going to be like. That's why I say I want this year to be a legendary year because I think this is a year like everything's going to change for me. Like everything has already changed, but I think a real change is going to be this year, and I think the NBA is real close. On me, it's all on me at this point. Like, if I have a great year, then win the league next year. But if I don't have the year I want to have, then maybe it might be a little bit hard to get into the league next year. But honestly, I try not to think about it right now. I just try to like lock in on Lamont, me and myself right now, just to take it day by day, not look too far. I feel like I look too far, I'm kind of lose focus on like what the task is right now. But real close for sure.
All right. So, I just want that to be known. Like, if anybody's watching this game, by any chance, if any NBA scouts or anybody that's in that NBA world or basketball world in general, I really want y'all to lock in on DeVante Jones. He's a really talented basketball player, and not only is he a talented basketball player, but he's a winning basketball player. Right? Any team that he was on, they were always in the championship talks. Right? Going back to when I first met him at St. Aug, we was always around the two away from the championship. He goes to Coastal Carolina. They were really, you know, a talking time as far as basketball go. And then now he went to Michigan in the Elite Eight, Sweet 16, and then now, in a professional life, he just left from the championship game. He came up short, but I want y'all to take notice that at every stage he's getting closer and closer. And he's always been around winning players. He's going to bring that winning attitude to your locker room. So
Appreciate
that's
that.
just something that I could see from an outside perspective. I can see that you all about the basketball, and that's like that's something that mean a lot to you. So I just want to let it be known. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
A lot of people overlook the overseas play because it's not the best of the best. But they got some real talent out there. The NBA is only like what, the 0.01%. So there's still some talent that's left out, and DeVante Jones is a really good example.
Appreciate that. Bro.
Speaking of, though, I want to know your thoughts on that comment that Noah Lyles made about the NBA not being the best league in the world. You probably have the best perspective given the fact that you do play overseas and you playing with some NBA players, are playing against some NBA players right now.
Um, I don't think what he said is wrong. I just think the way he said it was probably like wrong. Like, don't get it twisted. I think the NBA is like the highest of the highest when it comes to level of competition. They got because obviously Luka was overseas, but he went to the NBA. But mind you, Luka even said the NBA is easier than overseas. Mind you, the NBA is definitely better. Like, don't get it wrong, but I think overseas ain't no slouch either. Like, overseas is hard. A lot of people from that same NBA came from overseas. So especially the good ones like Jokic, Giannis, Luka. You had like Tony Parker, you got Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan. Like all the people came from overseas, so it's like overseas ain't no slouch. But I think the main thing Noah was speaking about, he was just like how NBA, like the NBA basically is not like the whole world. So they say the NBA they world champions. Like that can't be like possible just because like they're not playing against like what I'm saying. So like they're not
Yeah,
playing against everybody. So I think what he said wasn't wrong. Like, but I think just the way he said it kind of came off wrong, just because like you speaking of like the truth, that he's not wrong at all. But I think just the way he said it was kind of like off. But no, allows a character, bro.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But that's how I pretty much want to end it. Just another reminder, just do your research on him and like really truly see what the kind of player that DeVante Jones is and the kind of player that he can be. The potential for him is limitless, and from now right now, like I'm always gonna be following your career, and I'm always gonna be rooting for you. Like
Appreciate
this,
you.
I appreciate you for doing this interview for me. And like just doing it, it kind of just shows me again the kind of person that you really are. You didn't have to do this, right? But you know, I hit you up on Instagram. It was kind of like a wild shot. Like, okay, let's just see. I
Yeah.
was thinking you probably got like a little too Hollywood. You playing with, you're a professional now. You playing with some of the best players, but now you still like a down to earth person. So I appreciate you for that.
Nah, for
And
sure. For sure.
so yeah, man. I just want to end this interview. Aaron, the Don, DeVante Jones. Appreciate y'all guys for watching, and make sure y'all tune into the next video that we're gonna have for y'all.
Yeah, so y'all tune in, man. Y'all tune in. My dude about to blow up real soon. Tune in.
Facts. Facts. Likewise. Likewise.